Welcome back to another episode of Hate It or Love It. Well, this is our final episode of Hate It or Love It of the year. It's been a wonderful ride. We are sponsored by our guys over at Steady Picks. Shout out to you guys. It's been a great season. I got my brother Lofa back for the Super Bowl edition. For those that don't know, my brother played in the Super Bowl. So I kind of want to start this off a little bit about that, man, because I know when you play football like I do, or like we did, the goal in life eventually is to go to a Super Bowl. Hopefully you win it, but just to even get to that main stage and just be able to play, there's nothing like it. So if you could, big bro, uh, can you like walk us back or walk us through back then, like some of the stuff you went through in your Super Bowl, and how it was to you? I know it was a while ago, but shit, I know it probably still fresh on your brain.
Nothing but horrible memories in Detroit. Uh, no, I'm
Freezing
kidding.
out there that year too. I remember.
Yeah, oh, it was so cold. And just I remember such a big deal was made about it, especially with the media. Like it kind of takes away from the experience. Like you're just sitting there doing interviews like all
Yeah,
week, man. You're available to the press and just like it's just kind of I mean, it's a lot, because you're there to play ball,
yeah,
and and then of course it's hard for me never to sound bitter about my Super Bowl experience because of the way in which we lost. I mean, the refs. I'm not blaming them. I'm stating the fact that they came back to our facility and apologized, after the fact that they had some calls that they wish they had back, which I mean, I think that's the only way I can make peace with it. It's kind of like life.
yeah,
Like control what you can control is how we were always taught on the football field. And there was some shit that was just out of our control that day. But it's good to know that the moment wasn't too big for us because I think that's what sometimes you see people like they have that incredible journey to the game and then just if they get blown out and
yeah.
it's like they just they didn't play the way they're used to playing. So we played a good, tough game. Congrats to the Steelers for getting that championship ring. I know if it was roles reversed, I would not be giving my ring back. So
Yeah.
there's
For
no love lost, no love lost there. It's strictly an official thing. But um, but yeah, that rookie season, we had a 10 or 11 game win streak in there. Ran through the playoffs pretty easily. It was incredible, man. That journey coming straight off of two national titles, which I won with you.
yes, sir.
It's man, you feel like you're never going to lose a big game again, man. It
Yeah.
was magical, man.
Yeah, I could only imagine. I got to the playoffs a few times in my career. And getting to the playoffs is celebrated, especially with certain organizations when you don't, my organization, I'm a Titan, I'll rep it forever, but we haven't won a Super Bowl yet. We played in it, but you know, there's certain what's the word? There's certain fucking teams, whatever you want to call it. There's teams, there's Steelers, the Patriots, where you go to the teams and you're like, oh, we're probably gonna go to the playoffs and some type of division championship every other year or so. But when you play for some of these other teams, then the playoffs is really very rarely sniff about, and when you get there, it's very celebrated. So I know what you mean, and to play in the Super Bowl, I could only imagine, bro, for
It's
real.
hard to make playoffs, man. Like people don't realize. Even I remember, you know, backing into the playoffs twice. And like by saying that, is we were first in division, and I think we had to beat the Niners, and we lost to them. But because somebody else lost, I think the Rams or somebody lost, we ended up going like that day. We ended up going to clinching the title, and like
Yeah,
so, I'm wearing the shirt proudly, and everybody's like, oh, you're wearing that shirt. And I'm like, fuck yeah, you know how hard it is to win this shit? I go, I don't care. It sucks that we lost today, but I'm still going to cherish the moment that we get to hang another banner in our stadium.
yeah,
And a lot of people don't realize that outside how hard it is. And then even, when Pete's first year, when we were 7-9 and won the title, first losing season to make the playoffs, I still wore the shirt, man, because it's a division title, man, and
yeah,
it's so hard. I know. I remember out of my 6 seasons, there were 2 seasons that we didn't make the playoffs, and I know how tough that was, man. The longest off season ever. You're just stewing in fucking anger and depression. Just like, man, because there's nothing like playoff football. That's why I'm excited.
Nothing.
College went to it, and it's going to
Yeah.
get expanded because it's truly any given Sunday. Anybody can win. It's who's the better team that day, really.
Yeah. That day. And you're right, it brings out a beast in people. That college, when you know you got a playoff and this is like, oh, you win and go home, like you said, certain people know how to turn that juice on and turn it to a whole different player. So
Oh, the speed of the game, the intensity of the hits,
oh yeah. Bro,
it's
it's
on
it's
another
it's
level.
it's crazy you say that because it's like, when you go on when you first get drafted, you got your little OTAs, you're running around, you're like, okay, this is pretty quick. Guys are fast as hell. You're
Mm-hmm.
like, but it's kind of like college. You're like, all right, cool. You
Yeah,
go into training camp, you're like, oh shit, okay. These motherfuckers out here playing a little bit. Then you get to the
everyone's
season, you like, damn, what the hell? Now you said it. As soon as you go to that playoffs, you like, God damn, bro. How do you get three different seasons in one? Because you got people with yeah, they started off, they do this, but that playoff intensity is a whole nother ball game, man. Like it's
everything on the line.
and I played against Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs, Ray Lewis and all them, and you T Sizzle and all them. So yes, when they came out there, you could tell they was ready to play some damn ball for real.
Hell yeah.
Without any further, man, let's get on into it, man. Super Bowl, what's this, 57? I can't believe it, man. I've been watching Super Bowls for a very long time, man. I think my first Super Bowl that I really remember was Buffalo and Dallas.
Oh,
Yeah, so it was uh what's the Thurman Thomas.
yeah. Thurman
Yes,
Top, my
Thurman
favorite
Thomas
player
and
of all
Jim
time.
Kelly. I just remember that. I mean, think about them. They had a dynasty back then. They went to like 4 Super Bowls in a row and never won anything. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine the hurt and the bitterness on their tongue from that for sure, man.
They
But
missed by a field goal the first one, and then Washington kind of pulled away in the second one, and then Dallas is just really wasn't even a contest, both of them. But to make it back to four straight, I mean, absolutely insane.
that's like LeBron and them in the playoff. Like, I don't think he would.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to LeBron,
Shout out
man.
to LeBron.
Gotta give a shout out to Bronny, man. Hey, because we witnessed something that I don't think I don't understand if kids understand how lucky they are to see that what we seen last night because I don't think it'll ever happen again.
I want to break his scoring record.
That shit, because I don't think anybody's going to be healthy for 21 years scoring 30 points a
That
game.
Yeah, how never mind how gifted he is, how healthy he's kept himself, in shape, and it's incredible.
He's done it in like 150 less games than the captain too. That's
I
incredible.
I saw a stat. They said if you took away the threes and the dunks, so if you just took his, jumpers, he would be 14th all time. Still, that's fucking
Yeah,
insane.
LeBron James is probably the best scorer we've ever seen in the
He is
NBA history.
he is the
Realistically,
greatest scorer. He is. There's no debate for me.
that's what's up. For sure, we got the Chiefs versus the Eagles, man. Um, it's no surprise here they have the Eagles at -1.5. This is very sticky and a very obviously when you go to the Super Bowl, you expect the games or the lines to be pretty close. Like this is a very close line, man. This is as close as it gets. So they got the Eagles at -1.5. Hate it or love it.
I love it. I think the Eagles win this game. It's just been incredible what Mahomes and the Chiefs have done. He lost all his star players, Tyreek Hill, but they're like, hey, we're going to build through the draft around Mahomes. And the Eagles, there's a saying, and I know you don't like this as an offensive beast of a tailback, but defense wins
Defense wins champion.
championship.
I knew it was coming. And listen, you're not wrong because the way Philly's defense is stacked up right now, when you got a
Man,
Dominican Sue, your second, third interior defensive lineman coming in making plays like that, yeah, it's gonna be hard to beat a team like that. I'm not crazy. I know when you were on my team with them Trojans, I know when you say defense wins champ, I know what you mean by that because the getting the ball out, getting the offense extra possessions when you get those turnovers, that stuff makes a hell of a difference when you're playing in these games. So I
You
hear
remember,
you,
you remember Oklahoma? They had the amazing offense with those receivers and Adrian Peterson, and
Jason
but
White.
we had 7 or 8 first, second or third round picks on that defensive line.
You're
We
right.
were stacked.
I'm talking about Stack, said LJ, Sean. Yeah, no,
Cody
it was
Patterson,
that's
LJ. I
crazy.
mean, it was insane.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? I it's just crazy because I think everybody is I get this Eagles defense for sure, but one thing that we're forgetting, I feel like, is the magic of Patrick Mahomes. And yes, I know that he might have a sprained ankle, but one thing I do know is 2 weeks
He was
time off with a little shot in that mug, everything becomes normal again. So it's
I
not that
hear
I
you.
it's not that I don't agree with you. It's just that like I know Patty Magic.
Before you say your pick, you're right, because even in the one Super Bowl loss he had a phenomenal game. There was
Yeah.
something like 10 or 12 drops when they lost to the
Yeah.
Bucks.
Yeah,
I
with
mean,
the Buccaneers that year, they were dropping balls like an MF.
oh my God, yeah, Hill, Kelsey, even I've never seen Kelsey drop, passes like that. So Mahomes, I understand where you're going, where your heart's saying and your mind is saying, because there's no better big game player than Mahomes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one. Maybe Tom Brady, but other than that, I'm saying in the last several years. So I could see why you might want to go, and why it might be tough, because like we said in the beginning of the segment, the big moment is the moment too big, because the Eagles haven't really been tested,
Right.
and the Chiefs have been battle tested for the last 4 or 5 years. So I
Yes,
could
sir.
see the kind of okay, well, still got Mahomes on the other side and Kelsey. So, but it for me, the defense, man, it just comes down to that.
I'm gonna hate it. I'm going. I'm going Patty Wagon. It's kind of
Okay,
like the Joe Burrow um thing. It's like I believe in Joe until he lets me down. And even with that game, it was like Joe still almost had a chance to, make some plays. It's
it
like
was the officials.
the officials, the dude is to get hits out of bounds, 2 yards out of bounds. They don't throw nothing. It's yes, Joe Burrow gets DDT'd on his neck. You know that's a damn.
Joe Mixon got hit 5 yards out of bounds.
Yes, it's yes. The officials definitely cost him that one. But to me, Patty's going. I think Patty. I think Patty in this game proves to the world exactly why he is Patrick Mahomes. Why they paid him $500 million. Yes,
Yeah.
I don't have all my offensive weapons, but I will show you guys exactly what if a good quarterback play, if I make the right decisions, that yes, with great quarterback play, I can outbeat a defense. That's what I'm saying. I think Big Red might have draw up a game plan that'll help it. Now let's get it right. Two black quarterbacks playing in the Super Bowl. I'm proud. If Jalen Hurts get this Super Bowl, I would be ecstatic. Just from his past and what he's been through to where he's come to now, Loaf. I can't lie. I would be so happy for him. So
Bro, I'm
I'm
one of
not
the biggest
knocking
Hurts fan. I'm one of the
it.
biggest Hurts fan, because
Yes,
everything,
sir.
like you said, okay, and just real quick, because you got to give him his credit, man. Like,
Yeah,
only had two losses as a starter of Bama, right? And I think they were in championship games. And so then, Tua replaces him. He doesn't go straight to the portal. He toughs it out for a year, graduates from Bama, and he works on some things. But I think they win the Natty if they have Hurts in there, and if Tua doesn't
yeah,
get hurt. And I thought they were going to play Hurts in that final game because Tua just came off an ankle surgery. But and they brought him back and won the second half of that Georgia
exactly.
championship. So then he goes and transfers, almost wins the Heisman, learns a bunch from Lincoln Riley, and then goes second round. And look at what he's done. He fought. He probably should have been starting a lot earlier, because they were not looking good on offense
Yeah,
when he first got there. But battled through the two games. I still hope he wins MVP. No one's talking about it like I am,
yeah.
but
I think
the two
he is.
games he was out, they lose two games. They lose twice as many games as he did in 12 games, when he was
Yeah.
like 11-1 before he exited. So, yeah, man, it cannot be understated how much this kid's overcome. And he's a champion already in my book. This is just going to cement the legacy.
You couldn't have said it better. I'm with you. And yeah, Jalen, go get you one. I just for the
Yeah.
bet, I'm taking Patty Wagon. Got to.
I mean,
Um,
experience, man. They've been there
That's all
before.
I'm saying. Yeah, this is third Super Bowl. Like he knows what I feel like he's been there, like you said, battle tested.
Yep.
Um, over or under at 51 points. Hate it or love it.
So I mean,
51,
like, if
26.
you,
That's 26,
it's a piece.
25.
Yeah. I hate it. I think what we always see in these Super Bowls, even going back to mine, I think it was 7-3 at halftime. Like, I don't think I think the play calling has more to do with it, like very conservative, like, hey, let's see how they're coming out to play. Let's figure it out. You kind of feeling your way through the first half. And but you'll see some drop balls. You'll see, people just playing a little tighter than usual. So I'm gonna hate it. I'm going under 51. I think it's low scoring.
Hmm. You say tomato, I say tomato. So I'm gonna say I love it. I feel like Patrick's gonna be scoring some points. Um, Jalen got his offense down. They know how to put up points on the board. I don't think the Chiefs defense can stop shit. I mean, they're good, but they give up points for sure.
Mhm.
As do the Eagles. Like when the Eagles got ran by the Dallas Cowboys earlier this year, like, everybody, I'm just being real. Like you said, when you go and they put 40 something on them boys with that same defense. So that's what I'm saying. Like, and Dallas isn't good to me. Dallas hasn't been good since Dion left, 96. So I'm just there's always gonna be a shout to them cowgirl fans out there because they every year is the year for them and they just find a way to be losing. But yeah, I just feel like I don't know. I honestly believe Patrick can put up 20 points, 20 something points. Um, I mean, if the Eagles gonna have to, if this is only a point and a half, I feel like then it got to be close. So I don't know. And I'm a fan. I tell people this every time. I don't like to see them like you 7-10 games at halftime. Let me get a 21-14 game at halftime. Let us see some scoring, some excitement. It's a Super Bowl. We want to see some points scored on the board, man. This is like the All-Star game in a sense, NBA All-Star. Nobody wants to go there to just see you guys playing real defense. Let them like throw up the ball, do some windmill and reverses and stuff like that. We want to see some point scores. So I'm
See that
absolutely love it.
that's an offensive take because my favorite game was the Cowboys Niners. Until the questionable last play formation, it was just hard hits back and forth. I love that shit. So I mean, we can agree to disagree again on another topic.
Yeah, I disagree totally with you, Loaf. I can't. It's amazing what defensive players say. It's crazy. They always like, nah, less points is better. You're like, man, I need my touchdowns and props, man. Speaking of that,
Yeah,
Loaf, you got any? Do you have any Super Bowl props or any bets that you would like to put out there that you could probably tell our viewers what you
I
think should
do.
happen or may happen in this Super Bowl?
I do. The player prop that I really like is, and I know it's a lot, because if the Eagles want any chance of winning this game, they're going to have to actually pay more attention to this guy and shut him down. But Kelsey, 8+ receptions, 8 or more receptions at, I think it's plus 130. Um, that's his safety blanket.
Yeah.
When things get tough, he'll just keep feeding them, right? And so I had Kelsey in a lot of fantasy leagues. He was balling, and I just think the connection right there, the chemistry between those two is too insane. Like, he knows when to shut it down if the guy's running too hard
Yeah.
and find that hole in man or zone. And so I like those odds at 8+ receptions because if they do fall behind, where do you think he's going? He's going straight to Kelsey.
Definitely
So
going straight.
that's one that I really liked. I was trying to think if I did you have any that you liked?
Well, I got a couple when there's a MVP odds. I got my guy Juju Smith Schuster, which it's a long ride for him to hit MVP. But at plus 9,000, it's hard to kind of if you could put 100 down and win $9,000, it's kind of hard for you not to take that. You know what I mean? Um, then I also got MVP odds like you just named it, Travis Kelsey. He's at plus 1,200. Um,
Oh,
he's one of those guys like it's crazy to me that it's that high because we know like the security blanket that you said that every time Pat drops back, that's the guy he's looking for. So If other than Patrick Mahomes, I could clearly see Travis Kelce getting MVP of this game easily, just
The,
because, like you said, it's a security blanket, man.
the tough thing about that though is if you go back to like the Chiefs and Tampa matchup, the Bucks matchup, uh, Brady didn't really break the game open until he started going to Gronk. And then
Yeah,
Gronk scored that early touchdown, kept going to Gronk. Once they had it in hand, Gronk wide open on a 7 route on a sail in the end zone. And he threw it over to AB because I think
he knew.
TB12 he wanted that MVP because
Yeah,
if Gronk gets that, that's his second touchdown of the game, and he had a bunch of yards. So I think he gets MVP for the first time. So I just wonder if like Mahomes, I'm not gonna say selfishly, but is like, oh, let me go to Valdez Scantling or Juju on this one,
yeah.
So
I can't wait to see. This is going to be a very interesting one. And Valdez Scantling, like you said, he
went off.
been making incredible plays this playoffs. So he's another guy you might want to go out there and check out to see. Do you have any more?
I was looking at as I got the list over here you sent me. Pacheco over 13 and a half receiving yard. If he catches, he's going to catch one, two, or three checkdowns, a couple checkdowns.
Yes.
Oh, 13 and a half yards. He could break one as he did at the very end, broke through that tackle of the Bengals defender, and then
Right.
took it on the sideline to play right before the big hit, the late hit. So I like that. AJ Brown, it's under 5.5. So if it was over 5.5, I would take that one. But I'm looking. Let's see. Anything else? The other decent one would be either Devontae Smith over 61.5.
Yeah.
Devontae's the guy that only gets like maybe 5 targets, but he catches pretty much all of them.
Right.
And most of them, at least one of them's over like 20 or 30 yards, like the one he caught.
Yeah.
He told them the NASCAR, hurry
Yes,
up.
sir. He's
That was a
smart though.
heads up.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant football, man. It's brilliant, and
Heads
that
up.
changed that game from the jump. So
Yeah.
you're right. It's good to
So
hear
him,
you talk, man.
yeah,
Listen
him
up,
or
yo.
the oh sorry.
You're getting props and odds and stuff from a guy that actually played in the Super Bowl, so you might want to listen.
I just like fantasy. Like this is it looks like a lot of fantasy like stats that because I was in like 4 or 5 fantasy leagues this year. I went to the playoffs and all but one, and then I lost in the championship. Someone got hurt, of course, and then I
Always
lost.
happen.
I lost in the semifinal by a point, and I think my kicker. I'm not going to name him because I don't do that, but he missed. He missed an extra point.
Excuse me.
He
Damn
missed
kickers.
an extra point.
Them damn kickers, man. Boy, kickers got one of the best and hateful jobs in the.
Hardest job out there, Ralph.
Cause right when you making it, we love you, boy. As soon as you miss it, we be like, "Hey, get his ass out of here right now." That's
You
all you
sit
do
on
is
the
kick how you
sideline.
miss.
You sit on the sideline all game. Oh, we got to win the game. It's a 50-yarder. Go get him.
Get your ass out there, and you better make it. You been, you
Yeah.
been Loaf, man. I truly appreciate you coming on the show, man. You have been a lifesaver, but not just a lifesaver, bro. I got to be honest with your intake with some of the stuff that you give us on the game. There's no better insights than what you can give us, man. So thank you so much, bro, because I know you're busy, but I truly appreciate you coming on the show with me, bro.
Always for my brother. And then yeah, next year, like I would love to dive into the fantasy or the fantasy the props because like I feel like that's really a segment. Like who knows who's going to win half the time?
Right.
Who's going to show up? You're professional. You should show up, but it's
Nick, Nick, you hear
that
my guy? Maybe we should do an NFL prop show next year. He's more than willing. Let's get it done.
give props. We'll name it.
Give props for sure. Hey, see, man, my dog is always working. I appreciate you and I love you, Loaf. Thank you, man.
Love you too, brother. Fight
Okay.
on.
Talk to you soon, man.